crying out for freedom.
Want freedom. Everybody crying out for democracy.
Now it's time to take a stand.
Political leader of the United National Congress, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, activists gathered here this evening in this holy place, members of our viewing audience. Tonight, I call upon all right-thinking citizens, all teachers, all nurses, all doctors, all taxi drivers, all police and firemen and women, all 80,000 workers fired by this Keith Rowley administration. I want to tell them tonight, and this will be part of, anytime I get a forum, I'll be making the point, that they cannot vote PNM and blame the UNC for the nonsense that passes for governance in Trinidad and Tobago. I want to tell them, because the future of our nation is in their hands. I want to tell them, if they do not already know, that the PNM is the problem. Yes, Keith Rowley is the author and finisher of our crisis that we face. Keith Rowley is the, to use scriptural terms, he is the Alpha and the Omega of our misfortune. Tonight, I come to tell Trinidad and Tobago that the UNC has a plan for the safety and security of the citizens of our beloved country. All of us know in our hearts of hearts that we are in crisis with crime. And I ask the question, does anyone here tonight feel safe? No. That is the reality we face. Today's Express, if we read the media today, today's Express, front page, that's September 12th, front page, this is a mad scene. That is the Express. Subheadings, Claxton Bay, Dr. Lee is here, his constituency, gunman shoot up bar, kill patron. Malik, 2 men die in a hail of bullets. What's going on? Maloney, man shot dead while liming. Lawlessness. Lawlessness. Wild West. The Guardian, father killed in gun attack inside a bar. You can't take a little drink in peace in this country under Keith Rowley. And he goes to the United States tomorrow. He says he's going to meet officials from the United States and to visit his grandchild. But the real reason is he cannot tolerate the disaster that he has created in my beloved country. Rowley comes in to check the per diems that he gets for the trips in Europe. And the per diems, how much it is? 720 US a day, unaccountable, I'm not sure. But every day he's out of the country, he gets tax-free per diems. You and I have to pay for that. And you and we are not safe. Newsday today, page 5, Claxton Bay, murder victim's brother. Guns like socks and shoes, everyone has one. That is our country. Lord, help us. Lord, graciously help us. This is what Rowley is doing to us. You know, that wicked man said in 2015, when he was campaigning for Prime Minister, that the yardstick that we will use to measure our success in crime fighting is how you feel about your security. That is the criteria. Well, Dr. Rowley, none of us feel safe in your disaster that you have created. None of us feel safe. If you sit in your home, you're not safe. In your veranda, you're less safe. In your front yard, you have to watch everybody who pass in the road. And you start to want to bolt because you want to get a head start. If you jump the fence, you have to run inside. And if police come in front of your house these days, you're unsure. Which is which? Who is who? We don't know who is police. We don't know who is thief. That is the disaster that we have. No one, not one single law-abiding person that you meet will say that they feel safe driving in strange areas, walking on High Street. Those of us who live in San Fernando, walking in Port of Spain, or even walking in our neighborhoods long ago we used to exercise. You get up and you put on your clothes and you walk to get your heart beating. Dr. Rai will tell you to get your, that big word, aerobics. Now we have to stay home and on a treadmill, or run up the steps and run down the steps. That is where we reach. But our feeling is supported by statistics of our calamity. As of today, we have 440 murders and counting. At this rate, we will cross 600 murders. You know what it was last year? 265. It's 600 we heading for. Police statistics, TTPS statistics, up to July, tells us Trinidad and Tobago witnessed 1,258 robberies. That is 40% more than last year. 527 motor vehicle thefts reported. That is 167% increase over last year. Tonight I park my car in the yard there and somebody walk and I get ready to hand him the key. Give him money to buy gas. Because in your mind, I ain't go and die for no car. That is what we reach. 56 kidnappings. Well, I say if they wouldn't kidnap old people. But an 87% increase. That is what we're looking at in this beloved country where every creed and race find an equal place and where we ask God to bless our nation. 927 burglaries and break-ins, 10% increase. 382 woundings and shootings, a 7% increase. Hear this. Hear this. A Sunday, 21st February 2021 Guardian report frighteningly indicates that between 2010 and 2019, 8,383 people went missing. Hear that? 8,000. Out of that number, 408 people were still not found at the end of 2019. You know something? If you add on missing, presumed dead, which is what they do in the United States, our murder rate might be heading for 700-800. Ladies and gentlemen, Rowley have no shame. Forget Hines, waste of time. We have to hold Rowley accountable. You can't jump in our country, drop out, go in Europe, go in Switzerland. You give us a schedule and you twist back and you go on Germany. You come in Trinidad, you went today in Parliament and tomorrow you're going to the United States. The last time he went, he spent a month. I would really want to tell him, go and stay. Please go. Please go. The SSA estimates that there are 12,000 illegal weapons in Trinidad and Tobago. So in 2015, hear this. In 2015, when the murder rate for the entire year was 410, who was in power? For most of 2015, us, led by Kamala Prasad-Bisesa. The murder rate then was 410 for the entire year. And that is less than the murders we have to date so far. He was all over the country campaigning about that he would reduce crime, that he had a plan. He would be the savior, the Messiah for Trinidad and Tobago. And he came up with a stupid, dotish, duncy head 10-point crime plan and hold the people of Trinidad. Trinidad people, we ought to be bright and smart. Kamala give us gate education. We move from 10% with tertiary education to nearly 60% under Fazal Karim. And we fall for a dotish 10-point plan. Here the dotishness that he got elected on. First point, simplify the selection of a commissioner of police. That's laughable. Simplify. We in crisis today. He afraid to bring the list. As my partner said, the list is because we are sure. Listeners disappear and reappear and whatnot. He's scared because the commission might put Gary number 1. And he had to come in Parliament and say, why not? You see the nonsense we have in Trinidad? Point number 2, in the 10-point plan, conduct a police manpower audit. This was completed 5 years ago. It found that 3,000 out of 7,500 officers were not on active duty. But what has he done to increase police patrols? We have enough police in Trinidad that every street in every hotspot area should have a policeman patrolling all 24/7. 3 shifts. High Street should have police up and down. We have enough police to do that. The problem is management. He talks about establishing municipal police units in all local government bodies and the THA. I understand that that is best said in writing. We have people from Princeton Corporation, and I understand they're supposed to have 100. How many you all have? 30 out of 100. This is a gross incompetence. This is laziness. This is slothfulness. This is dunce-headedness. Ashamed to say it. But what they say in the dialect, plain talk, bad manners. Give the PCA, Police Complaint Authority, greater powers and the right to independently prosecute offending. That way he put nothing done in that regard as of today. The PSA calling for more powers. Here joke. Here what Trinidad and Tobago, swing voters in San Fernando West and in St. Joseph, supposed to have bright people, doctors, lawyers, engineers. They supported this nonsense. Item 6, make witness tampering an offense. 7, make unlawful eviction an offense. 9, review anti-gang legislation. 8, implement the urban renewal plan for East Port of Spain, recommendation by the Ryan report. You know what that dunce-head Rowley government did? Ignore the Ryan report, create the Watkins report, and throw both reports in the dustbin. That is governance for you, boy. That is who we vote for. That almost have to say, shame on you. Shame on you. The number 10 in their report, CCJ as the final court of appeal. You see that? The day the CCJ becomes our final court of appeal and they move the Privy Council, all of we jump on a boat and head to Venezuela. Don't stay here. The PNM has a capacity to infiltrate all our independent institutions and make them subservient to the will of Balize House. We, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, the day some probably down the line, we should have the CCJ, but not with this dotish, incompetent, corrupt, dictatorial Keith Rowley administration and his minions. We can't have that. The Prime Minister's wake up, he go on the jaunts, have a good time, wake up in the morning, and he just catch a VAPS. The VAPS he catch was public health emergency. Crime is a public health emergency. If you ask him, he don't know what it means. What exactly is crime as a public health emergency? Prime Minister, you do not seem to know. So let me educate you, Prime Minister. I, Professor Rodney Charles, educate I know he's a slow learner, but I will endeavor to use my teaching skills. Prime Minister, an emergency is defined as, quote, a serious, unexpected, and often dangerous situation requiring immediate action. So when you say that crime is a public health emergency, we expected some form of urgency in the response. Today, we do not know that whether the committee that he's appointed has been resourced, whether they have paper, whether they have desks, do they know their remit? Or is it like my friend in Darsing said, Rudy in Darsing, MP, said before with respect to the diverse, pariah diverse situation. We'll find out 6 months down the line that they don't have paper, pencil, or nothing. Shame on this government. Shame on this government. So let me tell you what our plan is. You see, we are bright. Kamala Prasad Bisesa is a brilliant lady. Give her a round of applause today. And let me tell you, the PNM is very good at coming in our party and putting culture. So when we hear stupidness about our leader, we must stand up and tell them, we voted for Kamala Prasad Bisesa. The right-thinking citizens of the 300,000 citizens have determined, for whatever reason, that she is our leader. No 2x4 so-called independent commentator is going to comment on our leader, and we will accept that. No, sir. No, sir. We are brighter than that, and they have to deal with her. And I'm telling you tonight, I am the prophet Rodney Charles. And the prophet said, speaking unto the multitude, that she is going to be the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And who don't like it could take it and put it in the pipe and smoke it. Put it in the pipe and smoke. So here our plan. Here brilliant. I just write there 10-point plan. Dotishness, dotishness, dotishness. If you give it a mark, it's ungraded. You can't give it an F. It's ungraded. So here our plan. The opposition leader, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, announced a security master plan including restructuring of the Ministry of National Security, splitting into a Ministry of Home Affairs and a Ministry of Defense. So while we have Dotish Hines swimming in a lake that he can't swim in, we are separating it into two discrete areas, Home Affairs and Defense. The UNC will separate the functions of the Army, the Coast Guard, Border Security, Immigration, and Air Guard, which deals with defense, on the one hand, from internal security agencies such as the TTPS, prison community patrols, fire services, etc. So we could give focused attention to the TTPS and the coast and the prison. The TTP, the community patrols, the fire services, etc. Total focused attention. That is a managerial, conceptual, a framework decision that could redound to improved management, supervision of the TTPS. We, point two, and you begin to see this serious, they talk about CCJ, here what we're talking about. Review the composition of the TTPS from an HR point of view. A, incentivized by improving the police recruitment program. Our training must be targeted for service. Hear what? We need more forensic pathologists, cybercrime experts, white-collar crime investigators. We will need to bring those competencies into the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Hear what? Talk about brilliance. In 2022, having just 5 O-levels cannot cut it anymore. We must set the bar higher so that our police service can be filled with the best and the brightest of our citizens. We are going to review our scholarship program. So instead of having doctors, lawyers, and engineers, they're good professions, but we have plenty lawyers, plenty doctors, plenty engineers. We need forensic police experts so that a scholarship winner from whichever school, and most of them come from South Trinidad, right? From whichever school, he gets an island skull and he gets to study subjects that will end up in the police service. So a commissioner of police should be an island scholar, and the entire leadership will be our best and brightest. That is the kind of thing we're talking. A UNC government will increase qualifications for entering the TTPS to at least an associate degree or equivalent, and will ensure that a standard program of training be put in place, which, for example, will require all police officers to receive firearm training annually and mandatory training in de-escalation approaches. We bright. For years, we have heard about court cases that have been lost because technicalities, the wrong date, we have a surplus of lawyers. We'll bring them into the police service, and so that they can handle court cases. So that, and two things will happen. We free up police to do police work, and we put in intelligence into the system so that we win court cases. We're real bright. We'll accelerate promotion for high-performing officers. Item 3, we will set SMART goals for the police service. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. For example, we are coming with a list of things we're doing. When we go in, we say we want you to reduce the murder rate by 10% annually. And that makes sense? And they work back. What do we need to do? We need to recruit, we need to do this, we need to that. Those are the things that support a SMART goal. We will reduce police response time by 10 minutes. You call police now and you're sure you're here in a car. We don't have a car, we don't have a this, we don't have a that. No, sir. If somebody's in my yard and they jump in my fence and I call the police, within 10 minutes, a police officer. We have enough police. The question is management. We reduce the remand population by 10% annually. Young citizens of the country, not yet convicted, languishing for years in the remand yard. Isn't that a shame? They don't care about citizens. Lock them up. Lock up. That's their approach. Increase crime detection rates to 50% in 3 years. 4, and you're seeing the superior approach of a Kamala Prasad Bisesa government. Providing adequate resources to the TTPS and having mechanisms to maintain. What we have in Trinidad and Tobago is breakdown maintenance. What we want is scheduled maintenance. So they buy a car, and the car tells you every 5,000 miles to send it in for oil change and whatnot. The Minister of National Security stated in April that out of 1,796 closed-circuit television cameras, 733 are not working. And he don't know whether they're in hotspot areas, or whether they will be, when they will be fixed. Oh, oh Lord. That is third world incompetence. We have seen the Coast Guard. We have vessels parked up for months. Kamala Prasad Bisesa left 14 first-class, world-class patrol vessels, and they're tied up in Stobbles Bay for lack of maintenance, lack of fuel. That is gross wickedness. That is incompetence. We will make sure that the equipment we supply are properly maintained to save the taxpayers' money. The UNC government, 5, believes in an all-of-government approach. We don't waste time on committees. It is evident that forming new committees yearly does not bring any relief to the crime situation. Not one committee has helped reduce the number of gangs formed in hotspot areas. The time has come to stop committees. It is not an answer to crime. Not an answer to crime. The UNC will ensure that every ministry, from education to social development to sports to agriculture, that they will have a key role to play in producing an environment that encourages national growth and development with a consequential reduction in criminal activity. And also, we are known. Our leader has a heart. She's a woman. She's a mother. She's a grandmother. She will deal with the social issues like persistent poverty, high unemployment. You think under Kamala Persad-Bissessar we would have sent home 5,000 workers in Petrotrin? Do you think that? We will deal with underemployment, social disintegration, daily retrenchments, and increased social inequality. Today, when you walk in Trinidad, you have the sense that the big boys up there and we little cockroaches down here. I have been to functions in the States, in Finland, in India, in Germany, and I've never felt so insecure as in Trinidad. You're walking there and where you from? You know, like you're from South. You do not feel like all of us are equal, like all of us are God's children. That is what the PNM does not understand. A UNC government, the time is running out on me, a UNC government for its part will increase spending on crime prevention and crime rehabilitation. You know how much money is spent on crime prevention and crime rehabilitation? 5% of the billions for the national security budget. We will increase that to 40%. We will do that. This government finds it acceptable to allocate billions on crime suppression, that's locking up people, jailing people, and peanuts on the equally important areas of crime prevention and crime rehabilitation. And I'll give examples. We must shift money to areas of crime prevention. So scouting, the little boy learns discipline. He puts on a uniform. He's dressed, it's a killer, we'll do our best, and he learns. So while he's growing up, even if he comes from a hotspot area, he learns about discipline, about human interaction, about social integration. So they do not spend money on cadets, police youth clubs, scouts, girl guides, 4-H farmers clubs, national mentorship programs, youth skill development programs. I asked the question tonight. Follow this logic, follow PNM logic for me tonight. How can the PNM allocate $353 million to the SSA, which is a macro agency, eh? Spy. $353 million, but $4 million to cadets? Which planet that makes sense on? $353 million to the SSA and $1 million to the National Mentorship Program? Where does that make sense? $1 million on the Youth Skills Development Program. You spend, hear this, if it's laughable, I wouldn't say it. It's $353 million to spy on us, but 4-H clubs, $10,000. I was a member of the 4-H club. That's a long time ago. You learn to plant garden in school every Friday. We learn to plant thing and we and you get a love for agriculture. They give that 10,000. I say shame on Rowley. I say shame on that cabinet. Shame on Stuart Young. Shame on all of them who agree to this nonsense. Ladies and gentlemen, I could go on and on to give you the excellent ideas, but time is not with us. So we will do all in our power to elect Kamala Persad-Bissessar so that these things will come to fruition.
Everybody saying, as we move in this people's revolution, my brothers and sisters, let's all walk together as one.